Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. So glad that you decided to tune in. It's Friday. That means Coach Holt joins. So, Coach, hey, it is finally here. It's the time. We've been talking about this for month and a half, almost 2 months now. It is finally time. As we talk Friday morning, the NLDS starts tomorrow. We start playing for keeps.
Oh, it's awesome. It's a great time of the year. It just seems like it's all fitting together now, Case. It's 50 degrees here in Stillwater, Oklahoma this morning. Got my hoodie on. It's the Fall Classic isn't that far away, and the Dodgers are right in the thick of it. And it just seems like it's a great time of the year. It's great to be a Dodger fan. I can't wait for it to start.
So, I saw the shirt that your beautiful wife, Melissa, got you. We saw, I believe it was another shirt that you had last time. Don't think I've seen the hoodie.
Yeah, got this hoodie. I tried to find my World Series champ shirt. It was too early this morning. My eyes wasn't working. I couldn't dig it out of the dark while Melissa was sleeping, but yeah, I got a little hoodie and anything Dodger blue. It's how we roll. I got it. I did find that World Series. I'm ready for another World Series shirt though. That 2020 is getting a little old. So
okay, that was going to ask you. Was it 1980? Of course, I was going to date you a little bit. Was that a 1988 World Series shirt, or was that going to be a 2020?
It was a 2020. I don't think I have my 1988 shirt anymore, but it probably wouldn't fit anyway. But that was a great memory too. Didn't seem that long ago, unfortunately, but it was 35 years ago. Yep.
Hey, as long as you have that 1989 shirt, right? The one
that
says Stillwater State Champions on it, right?
I don't have it on my wall yet, but I'll get it in your honor, and Brad and Chris, all you guys, one of these days. It'll be on my wall.
All right, Coach. Hey, we are here, and we are ready to play for keeps, so going to be super exciting. Were you surprised that Arizona took down Milwaukee in 2 games? Yeah,
I was. I mean, of course, all those wild cards went in 2. So a lot of road teams won, so I just love baseball. I try to watch them all, and I'm Dodger blue through and through, but I'm a baseball fan like you, and I love watching those games. And I'm looking. I kind of like the Phillies. I got one of our guys, JT Realmuto, who coached against a lot of great young player, and I can't wait to watch our Orioles. I mean, they're a young, exciting team. We got Jackson Holiday maybe up there in a couple of years, or maybe next year. But I like to look at some of the new blood coming in there. Of course, I shouldn't say it. I was years ago an Astros fan, but now I can't stand them. So that's a long way down the road. We got a lot of work to do in the National League. But, yeah, I was surprised that the Diamondbacks were able to do that. But just, as we talked about several times, and every walk of life, high school on up, and whoever's hot and playing well at that time, that's when you got to watch. That's why they're a scary team to me, because they played real well during that. And they got major league players also. So it's scary, but it's what it should be. The best team should be playing right now, and they are.
So as a coach, I mentioned this on the podcast last time with Austin, and we've been in all different realms of this game, player, coach, and making decisions on rosters and that kind of thing. So let me ask you this, okay? 2nd year in a row that you're playing an NL West rival. The Dodgers have won 5 games in a row against Arizona. That includes 2 sweeps in a row. Now, one of them was only a 2-game sweep, but you've had a 2-game sweep and then a 3-game sweep. In the last 5 games you played them, the Dodgers are 8-5 against Arizona. You won the division comfortably. So for the 2nd year in a row, you're playing an NL West team that you're a heavy favorite over. Is the choke factor there? Does that concern you as a coach with these guys being professionals?
Sure it does. And Case, as a coach, that we, unfortunately, a lot of times we think on the negative side. Yes, you're right, 5-0. All that tells me is that we were 3-5 before that against them. So, I guess because of recent history, the Padres pulled it off against us last year, and that the choke factor seemed to be there, but I shouldn't think negative, but as coaches we do. Well, we have to look at all angles of it. Yeah, are we the best team? Yes. Do we have the people to win the World Championship? Yes. But right now we got the Diamondbacks in front of us, and they're good enough to beat us just like every other team that's still out there. So, yeah, that's a big concern, especially because of recent history, what happened last year.
And obviously using that term choke, it's not in any way, shape, or form what actually happens. I mean, you say it, many times, Coach, hey, these teams have major league players. The Diamondbacks, we're going to dive into them. They are very, very good. I say that from a fan's perspective. That's how the Dodgers fans are going to perceive this if the Dodgers lose to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm going to explain why it wouldn't be the case if that happens. Obviously, we know the Padres unbelievably talented last year. But having said that, I wanted to dive into that. Just, if you're a coach and you're looking at that and you're the heavy favorites again, do you address that at all, or you just kind of go day by day, do you think?
No, I don't think you address it at all. This is, it's probably in the back of Dave Roberts' mind. Maybe it's not. He's probably doesn't have a negative thought in his mind. I don't know the man personally, but I don't think you address it at all because it's a totally different deal. Yeah. This is a totally different Dodger team. We got different people out there, different players. It's not, as you know, Case, every year, even on the high school level, it's a different team. Every team is different. The personality is different. The good part about it, not that they had bad chemistry last year, if the Dodgers' chemistry this year is off the charts. Mm-hmm. And I know we talk about Mookie and Freddie and the leadership they're getting, but I guess I keep forgetting about Jason Hayward.
Yes.
From all indications, he's been great in the clubhouse. He's fit right in. He's a true professional, and from all reports, he's brought a lot of leadership to him. So I think there's a different factor. Last year, I hate saying it seemed too easy, but it seemed too easy for the Dodgers. From about the middle of June, everybody, the greatest team in baseball, whatever, and it didn't work out that way. This year, as we've noted several times here on the show, what they had to overcome. There wasn't easy. Then you get out to a 14-game lead. They're coasting, but good Lord, what did they do to get there? It's a pennant race, and you got a bunch of rookies coming up from Oklahoma City and Tulsa trying to save your bacon, and they did. So, it was a great situation. But that's why this is a totally different team than last year makeup. Again, I'm not the clubhouse. I don't have that preview information. And I'm like you, a fan. I would never say the Dodgers choke because that's not a good word to use. But as a fan, as we are, we're not in the dugout coaching. We look like we could with this stuff, but we're fans, and that's what we love about this game and love about our Dodgers.
Trust me, that killed me to get that word out of my mouth. I wanted to use that word for dramatic sake because I do know that's the exact word that fans will use.
Yes.
And we kind of want to go to the point of that not actually being the case, like I said, and we're going to dive into it right now. If the Dodgers do, in fact, don't beat the D-backs, which I think they will. I think they're going to go in there and play well. I got a chance to talk to some people about, Kyle Hurts outing in the inner squad Wednesday. Pitched well, gave up a hit to Freddie-Freeman. Michael Grove threw in that game as well. So we'll get into a little bit of that here in a minute. Let's get into the Diamondbacks. Okay, no Jake McCarthy, strained oblique. That's good for the Dodgers. It does look like the D-backs will have their catcher, Gabe Moreno, after he went into concussion protocol. Okay, Coach, for the Diamondbacks, 5 players with double-digit stolen bases. That's the one that really, really concerns me. 5 players with double-digit stolen bases, 4 players with 24 home runs or more, 3 players with 25 home runs or more. So this is an Arizona offense that is very balanced. It's dynamic. It can score in a multitude of different ways. And so, hey, there's not necessarily one key for a pitcher. You could say, hey, keep the ball in the yard. But then if you walk guys trying to be too fine, trying to keep the ball in the yard, then you're automatically giving them scoring a runner in scoring position because they're going to steal you blind. So this is a very formidable offense for Arizona, just what they can do to a pitcher.
Yeah, I think we're all shocked at being us fans. And we like the way it ended up, but I think we were all shocked the way the Padres fell off from early. And I think we're a little bit more shocked in the way the Diamondbacks fell off. And they struggled mightily.
It was historical, Coach. The way that they went from, I can't remember the exact amount of games, over 500 to below 500 was the sharpest drop ever in Major League Baseball.
That's what I'm saying. That's the most shocking. The shocking part about San Diego is that they're so talented and they drop so far off. But I think we all knew all along. Like I said, it was a pennant race, and the Diamondbacks were right in the thick of it. It was unbelievable. And you never know what's going on there. But again, to their credit, they ride the ship, and here they are, and they've already gone and sweeping the wild card. And here they are looking you right in the face, and they scare me. But like I said, these are major league players. They got $1 million players also, and but it's a good team. We knew this from the season started. This is a good ball club, and the Dodgers got the work cut out for them. But that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be tough. Nothing's easy from this point forward.
I love their rookie Corbin Carroll. This dude is an awesome player. Okay, so Clayton Kershaw has given up 2 home runs to left-handed hitters this year. They've both come to rookie Corbin Carroll. So that's a major concern. Corbin Carroll, 54 stolen bases. He has the 2 home runs off of Clayton Kershaw, like I said, the only 2 Kershaws given up off of lefties. McCarthy had 26, so that is a big loss in the middle of the lineup for Arizona. That's a big advantage for the Dodgers. No doubt about it. Geraldo Perdomo, 16 home runs. We've seen a lot of Tommy Pham. We know all about him. He was in this area for a lot. I believe he played with Matt, a good friend of both of ours, with the Cardinals. He has 11 home runs. And then Christian Walker. This Christian Walker is formidable, man. I think Christian Walker, in a lot of ways, I think him and Corbin Carroll against Clayton Kershaw tomorrow night, those 2 guys are going to be the keys of the game. Can you keep Corbin Carroll off the bases, and can you keep Christian Walker in the ballpark? I think those are 2 big keys.
No doubt about it. Corbin Carroll is a dynamic. Like I said, I'm a baseball fan like you, Case. I love watching these young players come in and make their mark, and I just don't want them to do it against my team. But,
yes.
But he's great, and keeping him off, and and Kershaw, to have 2 home runs off Kershaw gives him a lot of confidence going into the game that he's not, he knows what he can do there. But those are two big weapons for the Diamondbacks, and that's going to be a big key to this. And that is, as we've always talked about, we don't even want to talk about Game 3, but the Dodgers lining up their pitching staff. I know they got Kershaw, and they're going. Bobby Miller has established himself as a number 1 stud in the making, and I know he's going Game 2. Then Roberts going to decide on Game 3, which I like. I think that's a good idea, seeing where Lance Lynn is physically, and knowing you got them young stallions in there ready to come out of that pen and at a moment's notice if you need them, because they've done it all year. But this is a different thing here in the playoffs, but this is fun stuff, and I can't wait for it to start.
Yeah, Christian Walker, 10 hits and 34 at-bats off of Clayton Kershaw in his career, 15 career games. He's faced Kershaw, and of those 10 hits, 5 of them have been home runs. So, like I said, Corbin Carroll, who has the 2 home runs off of Kershaw this year, and then Christian Walker, who has 5 home runs and has 10 hits and 34 at-bats against Clayton Kershaw. That's going to be, just that. There's going to be just great drama and theater just watching those guys face. And you have the veteran, obviously the Hall of Famer, and Clayton Kershaw going up against the rookie Corbin Carroll, and it just doesn't seem like Corbin Carroll gives a crap who he's facing, man. It's kind of like Jamesoutman, just put me in there. No fear, probably doesn't even know enough to even be nervous about it, So one of those types of situations. So that's going to be a very, very, very interesting part of this to watch. So, hey, were you surprised that the Dodgers did name Clayton Kershaw as Game 1 starter? I think if you follow Dodgers Daily, nobody, as far as me and Austin, and I don't think any of us were very surprised to talk to that.
No, I'm not surprised there. I mean, if Clayton Kershaw's ready to go, he's got to be your Game 1 because of the experience factor and the type of pitcher he is. I wasn't shocked there. I'd probably been more shocked if it had named Miller a Game 1 starter. Not because he doesn't have the talent to go out and do that, but if Clayton's ready, and he obviously is, they're going to keep an eye on him too, as far as help, and probably even with Lance Lynn, if he comes back, they'll keep an eye on the number of pitches, that sort of thing. But no, I wasn't really surprised there. Matter of fact, I was kind of glad to see it, but. A few years ago,
is that the coach or the fan coming out at you that wanted Clayton Kershaw, you think?
Probably more the coach. I'll be real honest with you.
Yeah.
If a fan, I'd love to see Bobby Miller out there blowing 100, the first game. But as a coach, you got, you're getting in there, and Bobby Miller's done great things, and all these other rookies have. But like we've talked, this is a different deal. And look, talking about these rookies, look at those other series. There's rookies in every one of those wild card series that went off. The Rangers and the Twins. I mean, everywhere you look,
it's a young man's game.
It's a young man's game, and these cats are dynamic. Like I said, I love watching these young players, and I just don't want them, doing something to my team. But I love watching these young, dynamic players.
I think another aspect of this too is a lot of these guys went to college. And like when you look at Jamesoutman, I mean, he's put, michaelbusch is 26. Jamesoutman is almost 26. These guys are a little bit older than they used to be, maybe in the 70s and 80s when a rookie came up. They got drafted right out of high school, like our good buddy Eddie Days, who went to your alma mater, Guthrie, and, one of my best friends in the world. He was drafted straight out of high school. So when he first had a chance to make the major leagues, he was, 19, 20 years old. These guys are 4 or 5 years older than that, so I think they're a little bit more prepared, a little bit more mature than maybe some of us older guys like us, Coach. I hate to use that term, but
sure.
Hey, you got to call it what it is, right? Maybe one of us older guys remember of rookies as, hey, yes, these guys are rookies, but they had big-time college baseball experience, and they're like 25 years old. So they're a little bit more mature than I think some people give them credit for.
And I think us being college baseball fans too, Casey, because of close, proximity to OSU, and we love the game, and there's no doubt about it that the pros understand that is great training ground for
yes.
guys. You got more guys going to college and getting, all these great programs all over the country, including the one right here in our backyard. But that's great training grounds. And those guys are closer to the major league level. Those elite college players, when they come out there, they're closer to the major league level. That cat from LSU this year with a nice mustache. I mean, good Lord, he looked like a major league pitcher in Omaha. I mean, so they're getting great training from great coaches, and all the training facilities in colleges are much better now. These kids are better prepared coming out of there. So college is a good option, and I think the pro it's different than it used to be. You used to say, hey, they're getting old, they're coming out there at 22, the clock's ticking, whatever. These guys are playing like minor league baseball while they're playing good high-level Division I baseball. So that's a neat thing to watch because, back in the day, Casey, we can remember there were very few 90-mile-an-hour throwers back in the day in college. Those guys got drafted out of high school and they went. They took the money and went. But I remember not too long ago, a Division I coach told me, pitchers make money in college, hitters don't. And, the one year, all these Oklahoma kids that got drafted out of high school, 13th, 14th round, I think of John Gray going to OU. He comes out as a first rounder, 3 years later because of the college experience. He made himself that much money. A lot of guys did that. So it's a great thing. And these college players are just getting bigger and stronger and better every year too. And that bodes well for these major league organizations. They know what they're getting for the most part.
Okay, Merill Kelly, Coach, the last time he faced the Dodgers, he gave up 7 runs. That was just a couple of weeks ago. That's kind of skewed his numbers against L.A. this year. He's faced them 4 times. He has a 3.29 ERA overall on the year. He has 187 Ks, gives up a little bit over 1 home run a game, about 3.5 walks per game, so nothing really jumps off the charts as far as, maybe a game plan against him and how to attack him. So Merill Kelly, a good starter for the Arizona Diamondbacks, kind of a guy that's going to make the Dodgers go out and beat them. Yeah,
and you go back, same thing. He gave up 5 last time, but his ERA is 3.29. That means he did pretty well before that.
Yeah.
You can't you don't want to read too much into one game, but that recent history is good, as far as the mental makeup of him possibly having some doubt. I don't know the guy. Maybe he don't. Maybe he's like, it just happens. And in baseball, it does just happen. You can't read too much into that. And the Dodgers won't. They're totally going to be prepared with every amount of information you can possibly have for each of those players for everything that Merill Kelly's going to bring to them. That's a good thing about playing a division rival. They know information on everybody in the National League, I know, but those division rivals, they've got all the information they need. There's no lack of any information on anybody that Diamondbacks will run out there, and that's true of all major league teams. So got a good feeling for that. But again, when you get right down the nuts and bolts of baseball, the Dodgers are going to have a lot of confidence against him, and he may have a little bit of doubt in the back of his mind. You hope that's the way it goes, but if he's a true professional, he's blown it off, and the Dodgers aren't reading too much into it either. They're preparing for one game because it's a short series. It's a short series, and you stub your toe in one, and then it becomes an issue. So there's not going to be taking anybody for granted. I promise you that.
Kelly, 20.1 innings on the year against the Dodgers, 9 earned runs against 7 of those came in the last outing. Right. He's given up no home runs to the Dodgers this year. That's a big one right there. And 11 strikeouts. So he has, he struck out, about that would average about 4.5 per 9 innings right there, that doesn't just jump off the charts, but the no home runs does jump off the charts because that's a big way the Dodgers like to score runs. Okay, the bullpen for the Arizona Diamondbacks, it was a source of weakness, no doubt about it, for them for most of the year, but it has been a lot better recently. And as we know, the only thing that matters in playoff baseball, it doesn't matter what you did in June, right? It only matters what you're doing recently. So this is a bullpen that, hey, toryluvollo, he's come to trust, and it's been a bullpen that has been better as of late.
If they're in the zone, they're tough. If they're not, they're going to have problems. So there's really nothing. You don't look over there and see a Blake Snell waiting on you, or one of those guys. So that's a good feeling. But again, they're major league pitchers, and and you never know when that next name's going to pop up. You'd never heard of them. Go, good Lord, who's this guy? And the Dodgers got some of those too.
Yeah.
If you're not a Dodgers fan, you don't know about Pepio and Sheehan, those guys like you do. If you're sitting back here going, good Lord, they get that guy out.
Yeah, right.
So there's always every year, as we know, every year in the playoffs, several somebodies in a lot of instances make a name for themselves, and you just hope they don't do it against the Dodgers. So.
Yep. No doubt about it. And this is a bullpen that, they won't hesitate to use. I think they're going to hesitate to want to do it in game one. There's a couple of reasons why you don't want to go bullpen too early in one of the early games. First of all, you don't want the other team to get a look at all of your bullpen arms right off the bat in a series, right? That gives them kind of a comfort of knowing what you look like at this moment. And then number two, just from the taxing part of it, you want everybody to stay fresh. So, hey, this is a matchup that I think Arizona is going to try to ride Merill Kelly as long as they possibly can. I think they want at least 6 innings out of him. I think they will try to let him stretch 7 if they can, but that doesn't mean that they're hesitant of their bullpen. So talk about what that means when your starter can go 6 or 7 in that first game and just kind of keep the other team away from your bullpen that early.
As we talked about, when you're managing a team on any level, what I do today, bullpen-wise, is going to affect it affects from now on. It isn't just a today problem. Oh man, I'd use a lot of arms today. But now I got a short end going into the next game, because now I've got, as me and you did, he was high school coach. So I'd always put up there, because my mind would go wondering sometimes. I'd always have it on the board in the dugout, who's available and who wasn't. I'm not going to look here. I knew who I had every day. I knew who my starter was. I knew who I had from the pen every day. So if you go out and throw 4 or 5 guys the first day, it changes what you do the next day. We don't everybody has a rubber arm that can go out there and throw every day. There's still those guys out there, but they don't, and they'll probably be there, always be there. But, what you do today, if you have to use a bunch of guys that first day, like you said, everybody gets to see them now, but it's probably like, some of the Dodgers young pitchers, we know all the, used to be what we called advanced scouts. Now they've got all the information on these. They probably got video on these guys when they're 15 years old somewhere in our archives where they can watch. They know what they're doing, even though they've been on the level. So there's no secrets anymore there, maybe, except for what me and you see. If I'm Freddie Freeman and Mookie, what I'm seeing live. I can watch all the video I want, but I need to see this guy. I want to watch. I need to face him, or I need to be in a ballpark where I can watch this guy and see what I'm doing. So that's big stuff there. And it's just one of those times of the year where that's so important for everybody.
It's playoff time. I love the analytical part of baseball, because I think over 162 over 6 months. Over 6 months, hey, your job as a manager is to give your team the best odds at success with every scenario. I think advanced analytics do that. Over 6 months, they give you the best chance to score the most amount of runs, to not give up the most amount of runs. So I think advanced analytics, they work very well over large sample sizes. It's the playoffs, throw them out the window. If I had one, my one hope and wish in this series, I hope Dave uses his eyes. I hope he uses his guts. I hope, hey, don't throw out the analytics all in all, man. Don't just throw it to the wind. Don't get me wrong. But put it in the back seat. Use your eyes and use your gut first. That would be my first wish.
But I think we can go back because of something we saw with our own eyes. When Blake Snell was, dominate the Dodgers for 7 or whatever it was, 7 innings, they take him out, the Dodgers win the game. He's fresh. His pitch count is unbelievably low. He's mad. Matter of fact, he's gone the next year. That's where that went. that's a feeling where I know what I've done. It's cash. I know what I've done all year. But good Lord, I'm not pulling this guy out. Now it's playoff baseball. And the guy did, and they got beat, and the Dodgers beat him. So, I agree with you. We've got all the analytics we need. Even me and you used to keep spray charts. As time, I know that's better even in high school now. One game of spray chart doesn't do me any good. If I got 4 or 5 of the spray charts, I can see who these guys are. I can position my defense. That's just us little guys on the high school level. It doesn't have much information, but you got to go to your field. And I know I'm not telling these guys anything. They're great baseball men, or they wouldn't be in the position they're in. But I don't want to manage in the playoffs off a piece of paper, so to speak. And I don't think he will. I think it comes right down to he's grown as a manager. I don't think there's any doubt about it. He had to this year. He didn't have any choice. but I think he's what I know of him. I don't know him personally. He's an outstanding man, outstanding leader of men, and or the Dodgers wouldn't have been able to do what they did this year. Don't take any credit away from him. He probably should be the manager of the year, considering what he dealt with as far as a manager and what they lose. Tell anybody to lose your entire starting rotation. Oh, here you go. Now go win your division and do it by 15 games or whatever the heck it was. I mean, that's a great job. So regardless of what the past history that we all used to get upset, blah, 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 whatever, this guy did it, not just a great job, tremendous job of leading this team this year. And, I think there's a lot to be said for that. He had to do a lot of stuff on the field during this season. You're not managing this thing off a piece of paper when you got sore arm pitchers out there. Good Lord, what do you feel? I'm sure him and the pitching coach, what are we doing here? So, yeah, I think he's grown as a manager. He had to this year. And, the guy made a great statement on what he's capable of doing as a manager this year. And I think we take that for granted too much because we all got a little burr in our saddle on some things in the past. That's an outstanding job by not just only Dave Roberts, but that entire coaching staff and the entire organization.
Correct.
To orchestrate that thing from Tulsa all the way up.
Yep, no doubt about that. What are your biggest concerns going into the playoffs?
I just think the Dodgers have a great offense. The 4 guys over 100 RBIs and a lot of other guys that, but it just seems like, again, I'm speaking as a fan. I don't have anything to base this. Sometimes they just disappear, They being the team. I'm not choosing anybody individually. Sometimes they just kind of go away on offense, and you can't have that now. These short series, it just can't happen. I think that scares me more that the offense is just kind of getting one hit through 6 or 7 innings or something out of nowhere more than, and, I guess you should worry about young pitchers going there, but good Lord, bring that guy in and tell him sometimes it's good to be young. Sometimes you're too young to be nervous or as we used to say, too stupid to be a problem. He's just going to go out, hey, I'm a pitcher, I'm baseball, give me a dip of tobacco, I'm going to get out there and let it rip, whatever. So I'm not as concerned about that because talent is talent, especially on the mound. If Bobby Miller's on, I don't give a crap who's in front of him. He's going to be hard to handle.
Yeah.
And so I don't worry about as much about that as maybe the offense. You can't disappear for very long stretches. You're going to have those games. You're not going to hit every inning. We know that, but we can't have a 6 or 7 inning stretch where we're getting one hit or something, especially in a short series. That's probably my concern because I know that's a strength of the Dodgers, but I have seen it happen some.
Yeah. So as a manager, is there anything you can do to try to keep that from happening?
I don't know that there is. I mean, you can always tinker with the lineup. You're not tinkering with Mookie and Freddie and those guys. There's a lot of guys you aren't tinkering with, but you can make some moves there. We talked about, you want a defensive second baseman or an offensive second baseman. You can. But in
game, is there anything you think you can do to jumpstart the offense?
You can't do what I did, going in as you seen me do, go around and kick stuff and throw stuff around and break stuff. They're not doing that, so I don't even know if that worked. But I didn't have any idea what else to do. I don't know if there is an answer for that. Breaking that Dr. Pepper bottle
God Almighty
off the brick wall. I don't know. I don't know if it worked or not, but I didn't. I was just
of course it worked.
I'd try something, So I don't know if those guys. You don't see those guys over there doing that much, but. In game, I think you just stay and these guys are true professionals. I think you just got to stay positive. Hey, it's all right. Hey, good cut. Had a good swing at the guy. And a lot of times they do have good swings because they're major league hitters. And sometimes the guy's just so dirty on the other side, you just tip your cap to him and go to the dugout and get ready for the next one. But I don't know if in game with professional baseball, of course, they've got video right there. They've got so much available to them in the dugout with the hitting coach and. I think you just continue to be. It's like even on the high school level, you got kids getting a slump. The worst thing I can do is start overanalyzing it.
Yes.
Hey, you got good swings. You've done it. I've done it. Hey, you've had good cuts. Don't worry about it. You're hitting it right at them. It'll all average out. You'll hit. It'll be okay. But kids start getting, even high school kids, get in their head because they're slumping. And even in a game, I said that's not always the right way of doing it. But away before the game and during the game, you don't want to be too crazy. But they'll just stay positive with him. Hey, just watch the video. What he gets you on? What are you looking for? What he gets you on? Look at this. There's a lot of ways they can fix stuff in game. I don't know that Dave Roberts can fix it, but the players themselves, they get themselves ready before the game. They're professionals. they'll have a chance to do it. They may go over 3 and then come up and hit a 3-run bomb because they watch the video. Okay, he's not getting on that again. You know what I'm saying? And those guys have that. Plus, they have a hitting coach there. That's his job is to work with hitters. So he ain't got anything else to do. You know, I'm assuming he's getting paid a lot of money to work with hitters. So I think in game it's about, they'll just staying positive with them because it's a stressful situation for everybody. Again, my way wasn't always the best way, Casey, but I couldn't help it sometimes.
You were very positive, Coach. You know that.
I know.
And I think people who have watched you on this show, who have come to love you being on this show, can tell just exactly how positive you were in a dugout, especially in those what I call crisis moments when it seems like you're never going to get another hit ever again, and it seems like you're going to make an error every time they hit it to you. Nobody better than Tony Holt to put his arm around you and make you feel better about life and get you back on track. So, hey, let's end this thing on a positive note.
Okay.
And, hey, first of all, who do you think is going to be the pick to click for the Dodgers to win? I think we both agree. We think the Dodgers will win this game. So who's your pick to click? And then what will be the reasons why the Dodgers do defeat the Diamondbacks?
I think the Dodgers will win it. I think that the Diamondbacks, I hate to say it, they may squeeze out a win there somewhere, but I feel like the Dodgers will win it because overall they're just better. I mean,
yes.
But again, there's a small window on Major League Baseball of who's better and who's not. And again, the Diamondbacks are the scary part to me is they're coming off a 2-game sweep, on the road, and they're like, they're feeling pretty dead good about it, as well they should, and they're legit. There is no Cinderella stories this stage of the game. You either win, you're either good, win, or you don't. So I think the only keep the Dodgers from winning is like I said, Carroll going off, some of these guys you've never heard of going, who is this guy? For the Diamondbacks coming in and having a great game and shutting something down. But I think, I'm going to pick the Dodgers to win. And if the reason they don't, I hate saying, I still think at some point the offense will go away a little bit. They'll pitch around Freddie and Mookie and dare these other guys to hit. And just what you need to do anyway. As a small high school coach, I wouldn't let Freddie and Mookie beat me, but the other guys are good enough to beat you too. So I still worry about the offense as a whole, not looking at it, but just as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, look at Max Muncy, man. He's so boom or bust, and then Will Smith has been very, very, very up and down.
Yep.
JD Martinez has been in and out of the lineup a lot this year.
Yep.
And then obviously the bottom lineup, James Outman's had his ups and downs. Miguel Rojas struggled for long periods of time. Jason Hayward's been pretty consistent throughout the year, and David Peralta hasn't been hitting the ball as well as of late. So those are some of the reasons why you've seen at times some of the inconsistencies that this Dodgers offense can have that may worry as you go in. But, hey, another great show, Coach. I know you're retired, and I know it's early in the morning as we record this, so I'm going to let you go. You're probably going to go back and take a nap as I go back and take a shower and go to work. That's the life of being retired, right? Not fully retired. You took a baseball job back there in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Yep. And also, before we leave, I wanted to congratulate you and your family. I got the chance to talk to your Hall of Famer brother, Rex Holt, about this on an interview I just got through doing with him for my O-State Daily site. So, hey, wanted to congratulate you and the Holt family on the wonderful recognition that your brother Ron got for going into the Stillwater Pioneer Athletic Memorial last Saturday. I know your nephew, who is one of my best friends in the world, who we lost way too early back in 1991 to a car accident. Him and Drew Williams, another one of my classmates that was just a dear friend of ours. As a matter of fact, I think you were the one who told me about the Drew incident the morning that it happened. I can remember it like it was yesterday. Lost both of them too early. They both went into that memorial on the first year they started it in 1996. Now Brad's dad is in it, your brother Ron. Congratulations to him. That was awesome.
No, it's a great, and we're a humble family. And sometimes you get embarrassed when you hear all the. But my brother has been an outstanding positive force for high school all the way up to college, and the way he's presented the information, being back in the good old days, I call it newspaper sports reporting, and especially in a small area. But I'm very proud of him. And my brother, by the way, I watched your and Rex's podcast. It's awesome. I love listening to you guys. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it, by the way. But no, thank you so much. And we're only as good as the people around us. That includes you and your dad and your mom and all the people. I said, I'm 32 years a head baseball coach, or being a baseball coach, and just great people. My doctor was one of my former players. I see them all over the place like you. And we're very fortunate to be able to do what we do. And you just try to be positive again. we're not perfect by any stretch, but it's always great when your brother gets recognized for something he's done. And like I say, we're only as good as the people around us, and you are one of the thousands and a lot of people. You're closer. You're more like family. You and your family. We are family with us. So, but we're not anything without you guys. So, I appreciate the kind words, but we couldn't have done anything without the people around us, and you're one of them.
Yeah, coming from Randolph, Oklahoma. I loved hearing that story from Rex, and the big pasture stories, the Burt Burnett stories, and how when he got to Guthrie, it was like, wow, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah, it's a big town. I'm going to get lost in Guthrie, man. That's true. Went from a town to 300, big pastures 360. Let's Guthrie around 10,000, but it might as well have been New York City to me and Rex, and we walked in like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm going to get lost in this town. But so.
Yeah. I got a kick out of it. He said, hey, Burt Burnett, that was like going to the big city for us, Burt Burnett down there by Wichita Falls. Yeah. And then in Wichita Falls was like going to the gigantic city, Yeah. The first thing that came to mind, you remember Big Country back in the 90s, whenever he came through, early 90s, when Oklahoma State was building the Final Four teams of the mid-90s, I should say. And they asked, his first year there, he's from Gans, Oklahoma, a tiny, a small towns in Oklahoma. Yeah. You have like a couple hundred people in it, and then that's it. And then there's not another town for another 20, 25 miles. So that's where you live. That's where you stay. You know everybody. You're like family. So he came from a tiny town called Gans. And the biggest town from him, closest to him, was a town called Sallisaw. That's probably, about 7,000 or 8,000 people. Yeah. And he was about 25, 30 miles from there. And so the first game he ever played at OSU, of course, he ended up playing the NBA. First game he ever played at OSU was in the preseason NIT in New York City. And he had to get on a plane for the very first time. And one of the New York City reporters asked him, of course, they called him immediately Big Country because of his accent, the way he looked and all that. So that became his nickname. They said, hey, Big Country, have you ever been to the big city? And he goes, oh, yeah, we used to go to Sallisaw every Saturday morning to play basketball. When Rex said we used to go to Wichita Falls, and that was the big city to us, that was the first thing I thought of. That was so true.
Hey, we jumped the back of a pickup. It's a true story. We get a little Randolph shirt on, and we played for Randolph, drive across the Red River, baby, and play baseball and go to Dairy Mart after. So we're Dairy Mart right there by the ballpark, great place. And then Rex and I played together for a team called Burt Burnett Bank. And so we traveled over there, practices and games, and they sure had pretty girls in Burt Burnett, Texas, too, I can tell you that. And I can remember that being a 13-year-old. So we're very fortunate as a family, as I know you are. I know your family as well, and a lot of people are. We're not the only ones. So I just great memories of being a little guy and growing up and now to an old man. So it's been good.
Awesome, man. Hey, I appreciate you joining, Coach.
All right, thanks, Case. Go Dodgers.
Hey, yeah, no doubt. And go Pokes tonight against K-State, right?
Absolutely. We better pick it up. They're tough. So you betcha.
Man. We'll see you next week, Coach.
All right, Casey. Thank you.
So there you have it. There's our show for you today, our breakdown of the series against the Diamondbacks and the NLDS. We got on a little bit of a personal tangent there at the end. I hope you enjoyed that. I wanted to make sure and give the recognition to the Holt family that they deserve. So I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit more about the background of Coach Holt and how he came to be such a wonderful person. And I hope you're super excited about the NLDS that starts tomorrow as we record this on a Friday morning. So, hey, I want to remind you, one last reminder, we are open for business. We have, first of all, a GoFundMe account. If you'd like to donate, we have the link to that in the description. And, hey, if you'd like to be a beat writer, if you'd like to help with the podcast on this site, just let me know. You can DM me on any of my social medias. You can leave a comment or you can email me at dodgersdaily73@gmail.com. Again, that's dodgersdaily73@gmail.com. And also, if you'd like to help sponsor this show, just let me know as well, and I can get you all the information you need for that. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. Don't forget to interact with this video. Don't forget to like it, leave a comment, share it, do all of that. That way it meets that algorithm of YouTube. It gets seen more, and YouTube knows that Dodgers Daily is a channel that people like, and it'll keep suggesting our videos, and we can keep growing, keep doing what we love to do, which is providing videos like this in the future. So as always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and say, go Dodgers.